Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of my online trading journal, my trading journal. As you probably know, I have decided to record every session that I spend in front of the computer to learn trading. And right now, we're doing another episode of analysis ready for the following week. I have already been through and I've selected a number of trades from my lists that I'm gonna have a look at with you tonight, just to see what opportunities we may have this weekend. The reality is, this week just been the market has shifted quite a bit, and it has given us a substantial amount of entry signals, but because of my lack of understanding of how it all works and moves, it's hard to put a finger on the pulse of it. And part of what I'm doing now is to actually understand it and see why it's moving and the way it's moving. And I can definitely see we had a ginormous push Friday afternoon and Saturday morning in New Zealand time before market has closed, and it has positioned some of the pairs in a better state for possible entries in the following week. As you know, last week I had taken 0 trades on my real account. I've taken a couple of demo ones, and one of them actually minus $700. As you know, I have done the mistake of entering to market. I was selling 2 units from $3,000 trading account, and I'm currently sitting at minus $757. This is USD JPY. So of course, what happened there, I perceived, I should say, an entry signal that was a fake out, was a liquidity grab. And as you can see, if I had put a stop loss, I would have definitely been wicked out. But it's still going. I decided to keep it over the weekend and, kind of dissect it on like next week, Friday, when we're doing the week update, just to see how the week has moved and if it's done anything, if kind of give us any opportunities. Yeah, so we'll just go through this list as I always do, and we'll just basically see what I can see, and hopefully get some good trades this week. I have been not trading my real account for almost 3 weeks. This is the third week that just closed that I haven't taken a trade with my real account. And it sucks. My demo account, the $5 million one, I know. That one, I have actually closed it. Finally closed it after 2 weeks. History. So I closed this one after 2 weeks of holding. It's all closed blue again in profit. So I closed USD JPY 1,500. That was 35 units. A GBP CAD, I sold 35 units and that went 14,700. GBP CAD sell 35 and I closed for 7,600. They positive, which really matters. But the thing is, with such a big account, I did enter to market as well. Bad habit, I guess. But when you have so much money, it almost doesn't matter. You can, I would say, in the market, today's market, you can enter, and if you missed your entry, but you know the direction, it will eventually get to your point, but it's going to wick you out first and then go there. That's exactly what's happening, and I can see it. So I've been actually thinking how I could do this to a small account now. The reality is, with small accounts, my account is $500 now, US dollars. Doing that means I'm going to trade like $15 and $20. And when you do that, the compounding is going to happen over maybe 10 years to actually get to a substantial account. So I am trying to grow this little account a lot quicker. So kind of playing with these demo accounts to see what could potentially work. That $3,000 account right now is minus $700. So we'll see how that closes next week. Looking at that pair, I almost think it's not going to give us what we need. So USD JPY, let's look at that first while we're here. USD JPY, this is this one here. So I am actually selling. Now, what I had last week, if you look at this closely, we said that this can do either or, go up or down, but I'm just gonna move this because I don't need it. I entered just after this engulfing. So the way I looked at this was this. We reached this area of interest at a daily high. We rejected it with the full engulfing, and I entered approximately at that level. But that was not the end of the move. Now you can see this engulfing has had a bit of a push, but then the buyers went in control again and it pushed even higher. Now what I do think is happening, if you look at this carefully, this here, this weekly high low, this was the bottom of weekly. What? Oh, sorry, low high, never mind. So that was actually the top of weekly. So I personally thought it's going to have a reaction just over this weekly high, but right now we are in a place where weekly, tomorrow morning when market opens, these candles are going to be closed. Let me just go to weekly quickly. Yeah, you can see this now. This is the previous leg, and because this candle hasn't closed on Friday, or closed, but the way this little indicator works, it doesn't actually close unless the candles are physically closed and another candle has started. So this is going to be a bullish. This is going to be a bullish market structure, market leg, a new one, a new high, and a new high low. So it's gonna probably have a full bullish trend at every single time frame except for the lower time frame. Now lower time frame, 1 hour, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and 1 hour, it's bearish already. So going back down to 4 hourly, you see it just doesn't look like it's going to go. But see these long wicks, if I do drop down to 15 minutes, that's why we seeing that lower time frame. Lower time frame, see 15 minutes. Monday when this opens, if this candle pushes above that, we're just going to have basically a bullish lower time frame. So this is probably going to happen, I would say. Most certainly, it's all trending, everything is blue as in the color of the candles, and it has a substantial push. We are rejecting the EMA as it is. Also this tiny engulfing does matter, but it is also trending. So this whole market, if you're looking at it, it is absolutely trending bullish. So yeah, look at this. You can see this trend line that I've marked here. We reached that bottom and then we went up, and it is possible that we're gonna have a rejection or a reaction from this point here. But right now the only valid area of interest is where we are. If I put these candles off quickly, you can see 1, 2, 3, kind of three. It is 3. We're getting a reaction from there for sure, but the problem is I don't think it's going to go back down. So we'll keep an eye. This could mean that I'm blowing that account. So part of my education is understanding when to stop the what if. So when you enter the market and you haven't got a stop loss, you will be hopeful, just like I have been with a $5 million account. And I keep thinking, no, it's gonna come right. It's gonna come right. What if it's not gonna come right? What if it's just gonna keep going bullish? That means the whole account is gonna go to zero for nothing. Now the good news is the market don't just push even at this level. The market, if it is going to have a higher push, let me just go back to daily possibly. Let's say it's going to break this area of interest. I can probably go down to 4 hourly. Put these candles on. So even if we do break above, what naturally happens, and I really hope so, what naturally happens, this would break through, have a push above that, and then it would come back down to retest this. And what this is going to do is it's going to give me the entry signal for a potential long position. But also what this could give me is a better exit from my previous stupid trade. But there's no stupid trade anyway. We knew it wasn't a tidy signal, so that's why we took the trade with a demo account. And as we go through any trade that I'm not convinced with it, I would not commit to it with my real account. The trades that I'm sure and certain for them, I would commit. Now, the reason I did not commit for this one is because I'm so close to the EMA. So I'm rejecting the EMA. So when I reject the EMA, I have a lot of hesitation, even though I see the engulfing, but I'm like so close to the EMA. I would rather have put a like a buy trade, like a short, a long position when I previously put the short. But because we were at the weekly low high, I assumed that it is not going to push past it, and it's going to continue the bearish trend which weekly had showed me. But obviously it didn't, so I wasn't convinced it's going to do the right thing, and I waited for the breaking and the retesting, just like this one here, and it hasn't happened. I took the trade on the demo account. Now my ass is saved, but the learning is still there. If I don't see what I know I'm looking for, I'm not trading. Same with this one here. Now this is definitely engulfing right now. I could say, yeah, I'm gonna put a sell on Monday. I'm pretty certain, like very certain, that Monday morning this candle is probably going to come back down and reject this EMA before it's going to go up. But it will want to go up at least as high as this, and possibly even create a wick and then come back down if it does decide to stay bearish. The thing would be, though, weekly is going to be bullish. So I don't know. It's that's the whole thing that I'm trying to get my head around. When and what triggers it to be, you know, bearish and then do a bullish move, or be bullish and do a bearish move. The only thing that comes to my mind is if it's ranging, if the market is ranging, which is going just sideways, then the trend doesn't really matter. What matters is you hit the top or you hit the bottom, and that's when you trade. But for now, USD JPY is just going to be, we're just going to hold. There is definitely a possible entry because of the position of it. Now, the thing that it's still a little bit fresh to my mind, there's the breaking and the retesting, and why would this go bullish versus why will go bearish. Now, looking at the trend, every time frame is going to be bullish as of tomorrow. So my brain, to the knowledge I have today, tells me that we need to break above this and then come back down to retest this area of interest and have a rejection of the EMA. If that happens, if the rejection of the EMA is happening with the full engulfing, and we've already broken above this, then I feel confident to put a trade, to put a long position. But other than that, you know, I can just wait. It's nothing that tells me otherwise. So yeah, I think I'm going to move these impossible entries for this week, and we'll just keep an eye on it. What can I do? Next one for me is NZD-USD. Now this one here, if you remember last week, we were talking about this entry signal here and how we missed it. It didn't actually come back to give us a retest, so I didn't really take it. Now this trade has moved substantially. I use this little indicator, which is called a fixed range volume profile. So that actually showed me just before I entered that we were seeing rejection. We broke below this, the highest level of trades for the previous day, and then we came back to retest that level, and we closed with an engulfing bearish, which kind of indicated to me that that's a possible good entry. However, my rules say we do not trade unless we are at the top or at the bottom of daily or weekly, or both ideally. And this is, if you look at where that was right in the middle of weekly and daily. So it didn't really put me in a place where I felt confident that it's gonna, give me the trade. But this the short position that I marked here clearly shows that this could have been a potentially like an actual very good trade, with the risk to reward of 1 to 3.2. So that would have been pretty good. But for now, the only thing I can wait and see is as we have broken the weekly low high, we are basically changing the market. We're changing the structure to bearish, and we could potentially see this reach all the way down to this trend line, which happens to be at this area of interest as well. I kind of like that. I like that very much, because that's what I want to trade. And if this is bearish, that means it is a good opportunity to actually see this go further, but further down. I would say, because we just broke this area of interest where we had so much support, and now we broke through. I'm pretty convinced that the only way I would trade is if this does come back to retest this area of interest and give me an entry signal. So what I'm gonna do then is actually put a trade right here. Now, will this happen? I do not know, but what's sure is if I use this thing as well, maybe it's gonna tell us something else. Okay. So yeah, right now the highest volume of trades have been put up around this black line, which happens to be really close to the EMA, which also happens to be really close of this area of interest. So what I'm thinking is we're going to see a good push. This is actually, I would say, I mean, what I would wait to see is this come back up here. Now, at the same time, the EMA is going to come down. We're going to see the wick possibly even touch the EMA and then go down. Now, at that point, that's going to be where I'm going to seek my entry signal and potentially place this trade. So this is actually looking, let's say, promising. And we are sitting around the weekly low and daily low, which kind of, right now with the market what it is, it's going to close tomorrow morning. This candles is going to close tomorrow morning, I mean. And we're going to have both daily and weekly become bearish. That means the whole trend is going to be bearish. And also at the lower time frame, everything is pretty much blue except for the 30 minutes. But everything else, it's bearish. So it kind of seems that we've already changed the trend to a bearish trend. I am kind of trading at the very end of it, but that's still a substantial trade. This is 1 to 3. So remember, I'm only seeking 1 to 0.5 or 1 to 1. So as long as I can make those, I'm very happy. So let's see what tomorrow brings and how that's going to change. I'm just going to add these to possible entries for now, and we're going to keep an eye on it. AUD CAD. Look at this one. Oh my god. Isn't this a beautiful thing? And what I can see here, last week, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday when I put this little indicator, I'm gonna keep reading it until I remember it. The fixed range volume profile, I think is a good tool. It does show me something at least, and especially when I have like an area of interest, at least it's showing me it is at the area of interest or around the area of interest. So I'm expecting the reaction to be up there. And to be honest, the market has come down to retest that. It went even below that, and then he had the rejection. It rejected the EMA, came back up, and it didn't have enough momentum or enough. Let's say the buyers were not in control, right? So they lost the battle, and we had this, let's call it entry signal, but it is you know, it's after the break and retest. After the break and retest, we have this full engulfing, these kind of smaller candles. I'm gonna just remove this because I don't need it. So I would say that was a mini consolidation, and then that kind of broke. So we had this bullish push, then we had this bearish candle not engulfing, then a smaller bullish, and then even a smaller bullish. So kind of that showed the buyers' momentum completely dried out, and then the sellers came in and they had a big push, and that was the engulfing, which really would have kind of given me the signal to enter. The only thing, again, we are sitting on the EMA. So, you know, are we actually going to reject the EMA and go like keep pushing up, or are we going to turn? Now, clearly it had the push down. So yeah, looking at this even now, it does not really, it's not as clean. It doesn't really show me why it did the push. So if you see something that I don't see, I would hugely appreciate it if you can just take a screenshot of this and say, Ricky, I think what you're missing is that this. Now, the way that I have been focusing on my trading is to keep things as simple and as stupid as possible. Now there is a limit to how stupid you want to keep it, because if it's too stupid, clearly you're not going to have trades. Now I have just started. For the new people that's coming, I have just started, and I'm literally 4 months sorry in since February 9th, and it's still a lot to learn. But the reality is, at the beginning, when I didn't know much, it was much easier to see it than it is now when I know much more, and I'm kind of getting stuck in my brain in all of the things I know, and I'm hesitant from taking trades. But yeah, if you see something here that I don't see, I would appreciate if you do, if you just say to me, hey Ricky, you're missing this or you're missing that. But anyway, from a weekly point of view, the week, next week coming up for this trade, for me in particular, we are now below the weekly high low, and the beauty of it is that we are engulfing, and we are engulfing at the very, very top. So what I know about engulfing, when the market has reached, let's say, a point of resistance, because that is resistance, and the way I do look at this, let me just squeeze it out, and I'm actually gonna get rid of the candle so we can see this better. We had reached the top, we had obviously rejection, and then we come back to retest it, and now we are rejecting again, and we're rejecting with an engulfing. So weekly to me looks fantastic for a short position. I think a short position makes more sense than anything else. Now, looking at where the market trend is, let me just get rid of this again. Okay, what do I see here? So weekly is bullish. But the reality is tomorrow morning, when this candle is gonna close, is gonna be bearish. So it is likely that we have just changed to bearish, but I'm just seeing something here, something a bit wrong. Oh yeah, okay. I thought this leg here, these two candles, I thought they were the bullish trend. However, you can see these two here, they actually pushed above. They actually pushed just over that. You can see that. You can see how little that, but that difference there, this indicator has picked it up as the new leg. So this here is the new leg. So right now we have broken below. I'm glad that's so accurate, but we'll see if it's good to be so accurate or not. The whole purpose of me doing this is to actually learn from it and see how the indicator behaves, but also how the market behaves in relation to how the indicator behaves. So right now, what it reads to me is that we're gonna see a big push down, especially because we are so far away from the EMA. We want to balance back. We want to be coming back down to the EMA in order to let's say continue the path that we wanted to do. And I see the EMA as a balance line. Right now you can see this was more like a consolidation, and then you had the push, a big push. It broke above, and it kind of run out of fuel. So right now we need to come back in balance. Market, to my understanding, is that always wants to stay in balance, and that EMA is where the balance roughly is. So it's possible we're gonna see it come back down all the way to here. Now, it is also possible to have a reaction of this area of interest and this area of interest, but the thing that really that's good for me is that this is a bearish engulfing that's happening on daily as well, which is really, really cool. And going back to 4-hourly, 4-hourly had also had a big push, and the push actually went below this trend line. Let me just look at this trend line here again. Yeah, so this trend line is on a weekly. I marked it, oh, possibly on daily, sorry, take that back. Yeah, I marked it on daily. But that we broke below that, so what that tells me is this trend line, of course, is not really respected. Now, if I am to be honest, that trend line may actually be, in fact, not there and be here, which kind of changes things a little bit, because you know it's more in line with the EMA as well, so we could potentially reject that EMA. This is obviously on daily, the EMA on daily, but doesn't necessarily mean that we're not going to go through, because weekly is weekly is the big engine. I don't think the engine, the weekly is like the car direction, where it's going. So once the car is moving, the engine and everything else will follow through. So this is more likely to want to equalize back to the EMA than it is daily to reject the EMA. So what I would be looking for this week coming, just to cut it shorter, I would get rid of this. Let me just make this back proportional. Get rid of, oh, maybe I can just move it. Oops, Control Z, delete that. I don't move this here. This is what we would be expecting to see in order to take a trade. And because of the location of weekly from tomorrow, we're going to be bearish and we're going to be at the bottom. Again, against the knowledge that I have, we're selling at discount, sorry, selling at premium and buying at discount. So we will be basically selling at discount, which sucks, but markets do that. You know, it's not a new thing. Market does that in order to reach a certain point for the big push, and this has the potential to go at least to this trend line, which is 1 to 2. A bit risky, but it is possible. So we'll just keep an eye on it, and we'll add this onto the watch list as well, to the possible entries, I mean. And we're moving on to the next one, which is NZD CAD. Now NZD CAD, oh my god, what is happening here? So this is our marker. That's where we marked it. Of course, this matches so much the NZD USD, so there's no point really breaking everything down. We're just gonna just look at this, what we said we're gonna do. So we're just gonna wait for the retest. NZD, we're just gonna wait for this to come back through, but I do want to just have a quick look at weekly, because even though they are the same, they're probably not. I can actually see here weekly is bullish, and we have not broken below the weekly yet. So we are at the bottom of daily, which also kind of tells me, hey, we might be seeing a rejection and a range, like another range move, but it's almost, it feels like we want to be down here. We want to get down to weekly low, and reason being is every time we kind of coming down on a move, even if you look at this here, it reached all the way down through rather than not. And now we're kind of coming from the same level. We came this area of interest, we had a good, well, solid enough support and rejected it and come back down and went right through. So it's possible to do both ways. So sadly, this is one of those trades that you don't know what to do with them. And if you remember, what the reason I want to stay away from the center of weekly and daily is because he can do whatever he wants to do. So I would rather not risk it. I would rather not risk it than risking it. So this could also do this. So we'll just see. We'll keep an eye on this. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary to put this in the possible entries, but it just makes my life easier when I go and check them, because I just look at all of the possible entries and that's it. Now this one here, this is really beautiful because of the double top. Now I see that as a double top. It may not be. So honestly, if you if you think it isn't, just let me know in the comments. It would be good to hear someone else's view on it. And I would say one of the biggest thing that I am hoping to get out of this is a team. When I finish with this, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years down the track, if I can create a small community of let's say beginners, people that actually are really, really keen to give it a go. Like I'm really keen to give it a go. Like I'm so keen. Like I cannot describe, how much I actually believe in trading and I really want to give it my very best. I mean, it's Sunday night. It's the 4th month in. I have not backed down one night. I'm hoping that we can put together a small community and do this analysis together. What I mean by small community, say 15 blogs, girls, boys, whatever, and kind of have the same thinking aligned, hopefully, and we can kind of run these ideas by each other before we enter in trades, and just be better as a team rather than as an individual. Because when I look at this, that's all I see. But if it's 15 of us all really, really dedicated, we can definitely help each other and get really, really good at it. So yeah, this here tells me that, hey, we've reached the top, we're rejecting the top, we're retesting the top, and we're going down. But what I want to do first, I want to check this area of interest, just see if it can be shifted now, because it would, the smaller the area of interest, the better. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touches. 8 touches. That's a substantial amount of touches. But what I can do now, I can actually drop this here, and we are within daily, where price has just reacted from, and it has returned, which is very good because we are at a premium and we want to sell. I can clearly see that this market has been ranging for a substantial amount of time. This is daily here, and we can see this since March. It has not broken through, which kind of is indicating to me that we are in a, I mean, look at this here. Since February, it has stayed around the same level, and it is possible that it's gonna keep doing that. But in order for us to be able to take a trade, we would be just following the market advice. So we will just keep an eye on it and just look for those signals. Now, this signal right here, it's an absolutely stunning signal for me. Having daily have this like also double top, just rejection with the retest. To me, it's so beautiful, and I believe in it. And most certainly, this is gonna have a push down. So if I do go to 4 hourly, I'll be looking for something that is engulfing. I would almost believe that I had missed the entry, the perfect entry. And this is something that I do often. I miss it. So because I missed it, what I should actually say, I haven't actually missed it, but I know a professional trader would look at this and say, yeah, we can enter now after the engulfing. But myself, because I'm a beginner trader, what I would normally say, okay, so we have now rejected this area of interest. So we rejected twice, and I'm pretty sure we can actually shift this area of interest just above that weekly high. Let me go to weekly, see if weekly has any other visual references. Okay, so we are, oh, this is weird. I mean, look at this weekly. Look where weekly is at in relation to daily. So I just marked weekly, daily. Oh no, we are in the same spot. Sorry, we are in the same spot. I apologize. Okay, so just go back to weekly. So weekly is there. So 1, 2, 3. Now that area is a valid area of interest for weekly and daily. So it's no point really trying to make it something that is not. What I would have liked, honestly, is to be there. And have 1, 2, 3 touches, 4 touches. And it kind of lines up with this here as well. But I kind of like believing in something in prices that are more recent. So I do like to keep it, more recent rather than so old. But yeah, it's definitely rejecting that area of interest. So we'll just leave it there. It is what it is. It's reacting from there. The thing with placing of the area of interest for me is understanding that the area of interest is where my stop loss is going to be. I'm always around the area of interest. Now, if the area of interest is placed wrong, my stop loss is going to be placed wrong. So I'm trying to be as careful as I can when I put this area of interest in order to be, more accurate with my stop losses. But for now, it is what it is. I'm not going to move it. I'm happy with it there. And I'm just going to go back to 4 hourly and see what we want to see. So what I want to see here in order for me to take a trade, I want to see the price come back up here. And it may not. I know I've done this last week and I might regret this. I might say, oh, we missed it. It didn't. It just went down. But hey, it is what it is a lesson learned. If this engulfing has that much power to keep going through without having a retracement, very good. If it does go down, again, it is what it is. I mean, if I'm looking at this double top here, kind of looks exactly the same. Literally looks almost identical, just at a slightly lower level. So it is possible. We're gonna see this happen. We're gonna see that happen after this push, and then we see consolidation with a big push, and then another balance out, and then another big push to take us back down to weekly low. But we'll see. That's actually the middle of weekly. So yeah, that's where we are with this. I don't think it's gonna go up, especially being at top of weekly, and weekly is bearish. In saying that, I just had a look at weekly. So look at weekly. Wow. Okay. Weekly doesn't look like it's ready to go down yet, does it? I swear to you. Which makes me think more now than before that we will see this push back up, because we need to reach a better price for weekly. But in saying that, going back to weekly here, for us to actually see a closed weekly to reach this level here, that's a big push. That's a trend line to take weekly all the way to there. I don't understand why this is. You see this, the price on weekly is right about here, but price on daily, I mean, it is kind of in line with what it is, isn't it? But daily looks like it had obviously had a push already down, but weekly needs more. Okay, well, it is what it is. I do think we're gonna see this come back up and then have a push down. But what that really means for weekly, we're gonna see a new candle form here, and that new candle that's gonna form is gonna be blue. It's gonna push back up to here fast, and then it's gonna go back down and form a probably an engulfing, just like this one did here. The only thing is, every time we come from here, see, had a big push to here. I know this one didn't really go, but this went all the way down and then went up. I don't know. Look, I don't like where weekly is in relation to the whole situation, because weekly is bearish and we're seeing a pullback, a bullish pullback. Now that pullback would ideally touch closer to that weekly low high, to what I know. So I don't know. We'll see. That's why we're doing this, to learn about it. Yeah, no trade for now. We'll just wait and see. For me to take a trade, we need to reject this area of interest again. We need to come back and retest it from below, this time as a resistance, and reject it. This has obviously broken above as support, and it come back down to retest it, rejected it, had a small push, and then he's come back down through and retesting it from below. That's how I see it, and almost looks like a liquidity kind of move to me, but I'm not as good yet to understand liquidity and how it all works. So we just keep looking at it for now and understand it, and hopefully make sense of it in the coming months. All right, so we'll just keep an eye on this. We'll move this into possible entries so we can look at it. AUDJPY is the next pair on our watch list, and this, just like the other JPYs, had a push down. We're sitting below weekly high low, and what that means is tomorrow when market opens, we're gonna have a fully bullish trend active. Now this beautiful engulfing was clearly the signal. Now I have clearly marked it. That's where I wanted to enter, but because I was a wuss, or a pussy, I decided not to, because I don't know why. But anyway, I looked at it and I said I missed it. I would have entered after this engulfing. I would have entered about there, but it was too late. I entered here. I didn't enter, but I wanted to enter here, and that's where it would have gone. But the reality is, if I had a stop loss on that and was there, it would actually wick me out. But there is a thing that I must add. When I do not enter at the end of the engulfing, I keep the stop loss exactly at the same line, exactly what it was there, and I'm just actually shifting my entry point. So that would, instead of having a, well, wait here, instead of having a 23.6 pip stop loss, I would be having a 45.7, which would mean this trade has become from 1 to 6.5 to 1 to 3 almost, which is still valid. It's still a good trade. And if you're thinking about it, this was Wednesday. So Wednesday, and this one here was on Friday. So I could have hold this trade and exited Friday. But the thing is, the amazing thing is, Friday, this had a ginormous push Friday and Saturday morning. So normally when I'm in a trade, if all the candles, all of them line up for the same color, from the lower time frame to the upper time frame, I know that's a big push, and I would normally just hold. But if we have, like, for example, here we have now at the lower time frame, we have all of these blue looking candles, I know I would exit, and I would exit straight away. And talking about that, right now 15 minutes is still bearish, 30 minutes is still bearish. What that kind of tells me is we still have a lot of energy to go down. Now, is that what is happening? Let me just quickly go to weekly, because it will make light. Now, looking at weekly, we have exactly kind of the same situation. We are in a place where we are clearly trending. Like, you cannot deny that it's trending bullish. But what this can also mean, we reached the end of the bullish, and now we are returning. We're coming back down to equalize, possibly. We created this baby double top. You know, let me just put this on. We created this baby double top, which is very untidy double top, but it is still a double top, and is rejecting, and it's come back down and is rejecting again. And we closed the week with an engulfing. That's going to be engulfing, and it's going to also change the trend of weekly to bearish, which means weekly, daily, 4-hourly, and the lower time frames, all of them are bearish. And what I like to do when it's a bearish market, I would like to put a short position, right? Now, the best thing about it is weekly is so far away from the EMA. So I know the market wants to equalize before it can go back up and, you know, let's say, do its original push, which was a bullish push, you know, but it needs more fuel, it needs more money, it needs to come back down, it needs to wick a lot of people out, get the liquidity, and then keep going up. So we will have a potential trade opportunity, because we will be in a bearish trend and we are selling. So we are not against the trend, and this may just be the end of the trend. But there's a couple of things that really matter to me. when I'm saying that. If you're looking at this here, for example, I highlighted it, Control Z. I highlighted it here for a reason. This candle was engulfing. And what happened? Nothing. It was just a fake out, right? So as this one here, full engulfing, what happened? Nothing. And now this one here, what happened? We don't know. But what I have seen, there's like a pattern every time you have a fake out. It's always the third that's gonna actually do it. So we had one fake out, two fake outs, and this is the third. But this is the third move. It's not a fake out yet, so we don't know. But if I was to put a finger on this, I would say we will be seeing a bearish continuation. So what Ricky is going to wait for is, we're going to wait for a break and retest of this area of interest in order to take a short position. I'm actually gonna, oh, no, I do have it here, sorry. I don't actually. I thought I have another little leg there. So we're waiting for this to come back down, break, retest, and go for the stars. So that's going to be my trade. And it would be one of those trades that, again, is going to be at a discount and we are selling. So smart money, don't do that. But I think it's necessary to do that in order to grab more money to be able to continue up. And what that does mean is we might just see a push down. But in saying that, I do need to have a look at the next area of interest. Where will we see a reaction? If that is truly changing direction. Candles off. Nothing up weekly. So daily, okay. Daily. We do have enough reaction at this point here. Absolutely. Control C, Control V. So we have got 1, 2, 3. 3 right here. Excellent. So I was actually pretty spot on. So this one is a daily area of interest, and it is pretty respected. You can see when we come to it from below, we rejected it, and then finally went through, and then come back down to reject it, and then it broke again, and then it went up again. So yeah, this is potentially a good area of interest. I would have kind of chased this one here. I just don't think we're going to see. We're going to have a decent area of interest here without going for ginormous size. Or maybe, let me go here and here, and let's see how big is this. Yeah, this is 40 pip. So this is still a valid area of interest. This is a valid daily area of interest. Then it is possible. It is possible to go to that, but we'll see. Minimum this trade can give me a 123.2, which is absolutely great. Because if that does happen and it does come down to retest, that means I can put a sell after getting this entry signal, and I'll be able to, make some progress this week. But for now, we're just gonna wait and see. We never enter without the market showing us. I want to make sure that I'm humble and I am disciplined, because without discipline we do nothing. I should leave this here. So this is what we waited for last week. We thought we are at the top of weekly, so we're going to see a continuation, but clearly is ranging. So it's just believing that it's going to be ranging for a while longer, especially with the uncertainty in the world. It's, yeah, I don't really check the news. I know I have an account to go check news and things, but honestly, too useless. I don't think it's gonna really make a difference to my trading at the moment. As I know, I do get notifications down here about news and shit. Westpac consumer confidence change tells me a little bit about it, but NAB business confidence. What's this on here? Latest updates: Australian New Zealand dollar recoil as market mood darkens. Australian New Zealand dollar buffeted by geopolitical mixed data. So it does kind of give me a little bit of understanding of what's happening, but still makes no sense. So I'm just going to ignore it and just try and take it one step at a time, and we'll see how important the news would be to me in the future. Pardon me. Now this one here will definitely put in possible entries, and we'll keep an eye on it. AUD USD. AUD USD, this is where we left it out last week. And guess what? It just went like a rocket. It didn't give a shit about my marking here. I was really hoping it's gonna follow my marking, but it didn't, and that's what it is. Right now we are beyond weekly and daily and 4-hourly low. We're clearly creating new low lows and low highs. So we have changed to a bearish move. Now, if we're going to look at this from a different point of view, what do we see here? Possibly a head and shoulders. Possibly. Let's see. No gap candles off. Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's a head and shoulders. That's a weekly head and shoulders. Okay. So I know as a matter of fact that a weekly head and shoulders, it's possibly an indicator of change of direction, and having this kind of on my chart makes me feel confident that it's going to reverse. And especially looking at all of my little indicator trend here, everything is bearish, but there's a key thing for me to believe that this head and shoulder has actually the potential to change the direction, and that is a retest of this neckline. So what I'll just get rid of that. I would go to, let's see, daily. Daily has anything there? Wow, nothing on daily. So this is definitely a weekly head and shoulders. So what I would be waiting for, or what I would like to see, is this touch this area of interest and come back up. Come back up to retest the neckline. So what that means is our trade Monday when site opens, this is going to be bearish, but it's going to change position. It's going to be from here to here. What that means too, from a different point of view, if this is the current box, this is the current, and I call it box, as in this is the current leg, this is where we are bearish. Tomorrow, when this is going to change, this is going to be the new box. So what would, for me to take a trade, what I would normally wait to see is this box be broken below it and retested, like exactly what's happening here. Now, the area of interest, the daily area of interest line up spot on for exactly that. So weekly is probably going to come back up here into this daily area of interest. I think that's what we're going to see. So if we come in here, I believe we're going to hit this area of interest just below there, and then we're going to have a ginormous push all the way back up here, and that's going to be our trade. Now can we possibly put a counter trend trade right here? Of course, but am I professional enough to read the signs? Of course not. So if you wait for me to give you the entry signal, it would look something like this. From here, we're going to come down, reject, come down, and then go. That's what I would say. Okay, so we're rejecting this area of interest, we're retesting, creating a double bottom top, and then we're going. But 9 out of 10 does not do that. Look at this one here. Didn't even have an engulfing signal, and it just went up. This one here, same thing, didn't have engulfing. And just going back onto the same area of interest, trying to see when we're coming down to it from above. So, I mean, look at this one here. It's coming down from above, rejecting, retesting, and then going. It has a push up. Maybe we're gonna see that. Maybe, I don't know. But see, same here. When it broke above, it came down to retest it, and then it's gone up. So the thing that's absolutely amazing, and I know I'm going to learn this with time. When you're looking at this right here, what do I see? What I see, I know I'm taking a bit too long, but this is the whole point. There's no rush. This is not here to teach you guys yet. This is just for me to learn, and I'm just journaling this. I'm just doing it online, as in keeping track of it online. So what I see here is we're breaking above, we're coming down to retest the area of interest, and then we have an engulfing. This is engulfing, right? So somebody like me, a new retail trader, would be like, yeah, that's it, that's my trade. And I would enter there, I would do what I always do. I would just look at my area of interest and say, wow, I really like that area of interest. So I'll go from there. I will keep my area of interest right there. So what happened? I just got wicked out. Fuck. You know, I wouldn't know that that candle here is going to come down and wick me out. I wouldn't be able to see it. And this takes me again to why I hate trading when the market is, let me just see if I would have entered there, when the market is in the middle, and I assume that's what it is because of what it looked like. It's not quite in the middle, but you see is not at the top of weekly or top of daily, so it can do whatever it can do, right? And we can see now, I'll just push this faster so we can see what it does to get us wicked out. And just gonna go up and up, didn't go any further. I just stayed there and then faked out. It just gave me confidence that's gonna go up, and then next minute I just got wicked out. So that's the bottom line. That is the bottom line. So part of my learning is understand why that's happening. So when I say to you guys that I'm going to trade 1-to-1, is to avoid exactly that, because I do not know yet how to recognize that. I just don't know. Now, if I was to put a trade here and go 1-to-1, I would have been, okay, 1-to-1. I would have been pretty safe. I could have actually waited a bit longer. I could have waited a bit longer and wait for that candle to close. And I would have made 1-to-137. That would have been great. And I would have not get wicked out. But yeah, that's the bottom line to me. Let me stop this. That's what it is. So this part here, you know, just trying to enter off a signal like this, just a blue candle or blue engulfing, it would be too risky for me. I don't know enough about it to be able to risk it, you know. That's why I'm gonna wait for the break and retest, which sucks, which really sucks, because, you know, I'm missing on a lot of trades. But this particular trade, if it does reaches here and it gives us at least an engulfing or a doji and engulfing, I would be taking a trade on the demo account and see how that goes. But that's what we're waiting for AUD USD, and I do like it, so I'm gonna put these in possible entries. Next one is Euro AUD. Man, this has already been an hour, so probably we're gonna go back to an hour and a half. So I'm sorry that's so long, but I'm also very happy because I'm doing a good job trying to really read the market properly. So Euro AUD. Last week we were obviously down here. This is the trend. This is what I said the market is gonna do, and it seems that it has done that. It seems that it has done that, but it has done it dirty, very dirty. I hate that it's done it so dirty, right? It's just, it's bullshit. That's all it is. I mean, I can see this massive engulfing here, and I can say, yeah, okay, I should enter because it's engulfing, but will it go up if it's engulfing every time? I mean, I can see engulfing here and it's gone up. I can't see engulfing here and it is gone down. I can see engulfing here and it's gone up. And not engulfing and it's gone down. Not engulfing is gone up. Engulfing is gone down a little bit. Engulfing is gone up. I guess the bigger the engulfing, the bigger the chance. But then if it's too big, it's stupid again. I mean, in this case here, it's kind of gone above the EMA and then it started back up again. I don't know. But this one here, definitely not my kind of trade. I would have not entered this trade, that's for sure. And from what next week looks like, weekly and daily, they're so small. The actual candle closed so small. That is not even funny. So the good news is weekly tomorrow when this candle is gonna close, and that's actually very good. This is looking really good. Now that I'm stepping back and I'm looking at it from the far, it makes sense for this to actually go up. I mean, look at it. It's reached this area of interest. It's really far away from the EMA, and it closes engulfing, and it's closing bullish, and it is at very discount. This looks absolutely amazing for a potential long position. And on top of everything, the fact that we are in a discount and it is bullish already, that's very good. It kind of fills me up confidence that it's going to have a push up. So let's have another look. If we're going to have a push up, what does that look like for daily? Daily has already had an engulfing signal, which, wow, you see, this is beautiful. This is beautiful and is pretty educational for me. But the one thing I kind of hate, I hate that it hasn't actually come back down yet to retest that area, which tells me that it's rejecting that EMA and is probably going to come down to reject this area of interest before it's going to go back up, just to position itself a little bit better. I'm just going to get rid of this one for now. Okay, this is nice. Now this time has come below, come back up, broken above, and is coming down to retest, and is going. That's clearly, pardon me, that's clearly an entry signal right there on daily. And for hourly, what does 4 hourly look like? Wow, 4 hourly. There was no signal at a 4 hourly. The only signal would be down here. This is the lowest two candles. So this is the lowest bearish candle, and we can kind of see it reacting off this indicator here, which is called fixed range volume profile. Fixed range volume profile. Bloody hell. So we can see that the market had a lot of volume at the very bottom. So it's really interesting because I kind of thought that hey, this candle, the long ones, that's where we have the most of the volume, but clearly this other candle here, including this little blue one, had a shit ton of power in it, packed with orders, both of them, because that's how they became so small. They both, the sellers and the buyers, they compressed, they fought each other, you know, this tag of war, heaps of orders against each other, and then finally the buyers won. And if I would mark the previous day here, just for the sake of it, we'll see the volume, most of the volume again happened there, and we absolutely seeing this rejection. Now what I would actually like to see, because you can see the lines here, 1, 2, this would have been the rejection. Most of the orders happened there, and then you had a push, went up. Now this should have, in theory, come back down to retest that, but it clearly didn't. They just stopped way above it. So from a trading point of view, let me see if there's an area of interest that I can kind of pick up on daily. Okay, Control C, Control V. Okay, let's see. Do we have one here? Candles off. Okay. Possibly 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Okay, cool. So we do have 1, 2, 3. 3 valid points. And oh my god, this is actually getting sexier. Now that I marked this area of interest, I know what I'm waiting for. I know that I'm waiting for a continuation. I know that daily has closed with a ginormous bullish engulfing, and it's now pushing above this area of interest and to the EMA. Now when we are at the EMA, it is a point of balance. So I'm aware that when I'm at the EMA, the market would do a little bit of gibberish. So what I mean by gibberish is when you have what is it called again? When the market is consolidating, right? Like you can see here, when we reach the EMA, it just stays there and fucks around. Then another area here. This didn't actually fuck around a lot, but then we reached this here and it fucked around a lot. Kind of this whole lot fucked around up and down. And then consolidating here and so on. So it's possible, it is possible that we're going to see a little bit of muck around at the EMA, a bit of consolidating. But from my point of view, what I think we'll see because of the EMA. Let me just go to the 4 hourly because it's kind of sitting in the same place. I would say we're going to see this come back up and come back down and then go. So Ricky is going to put a long position here and he's going to buy. But what we need to find out is this area of interest. I'll just keep it 30 pips. Yeah, the area of interest is a little bit small because I tried to keep it at 27. So next place, next stop, our next stop would be next reaction point is this one here. We can see 1, 2, 3 points. So that would be another area of interest. Let's just mark it because it's good to have it marked out because you understand where the market is potentially having a reaction. Now, for me to believe that the market is going to have a reaction, I would look back and see when did we have a reaction from coming from below up as in as resistance rather than support. Now you can see here it did not respect this. It literally just came to it, came back down and went for it. So this whole kind of shabam here can happen here. Not like we may well see that market stop right there. And actually I'm going to mark it just in case it's going to do that. We can see the market, where are we here? Come back down to do exactly that and go all the way up here. And wow, that's going to be an amazing push. Amazing push. Now, regardless of what he's doing, we're just going to have to stay and watch and learn. It is one of the two, and it is possible to do it. Now, there's no other time that we came from below to this area of interest. So from below, we actually came here, rejected it, and then he pushed up. So yeah, there is a couple of times. There's a couple of times, but see here, look, it went through, rejected, and went up. Yeah, look, it's a good area of interest. It's a good area of interest, but the bottom line for me is I would not trade above that. I would trade just there, in between these two areas of interest, and that's my trade for the week if I can get it. So fingers crossed that we have a good entry. I love this. Actually, it's really good. Let's move these to possible entries. And in the possible entries, I think I can actually make a list of premium possible entries and I'll put them at the top. So then I can kind of keep an eye on them. Oh, wow. Okay, what's this? This is daily. Daily GBP JPY. Well. Everything is bullish here. Apart from the 4 hour, which doesn't really matter. 4 hourly. 4 hourly. Weekly. What's weekly look like? Okay, we're clearly trending bullish. Very clearly trending bullish. We can see it. We're creating new higher highs and high lows. And you can see it. It's been doing it since bloody March 25. And now it's got to a point where it's almost consolidating and it's waiting for what it looks like a big push. It has done big pushes historically. We can see the other years here, and then it had a massive drop in 2024. But we don't really care about what is done in the past. The past is the past. The future is the future. We know what we're expecting to see is rejection of that first area of interest. So because all of these little baby candles, absolutely hate them. I hate them because when they're so small, of course, the market, it's like really dragging. If you take a trade and it's moving so slowly, it's so stressful. It's like really annoying, especially when you're risking a lot of money because you have such a small account and you're trying to grow the account. And look, that might be my mistake for the future. It is potentially what I'm going to regret, but that's what I have been doing. I've been trying to always risk my full account basically and make half of the full account. So if I enter with $100, I'm pushing to make 50. If I enter with 150, I want to make 75. If I enter with 500, I'm pushing to get 250 out of that trade. And probably when I get to say 10 grand, if I can, then we're going to reassess how much money we're going to risk and try and save as much capital. But the bottom line for me is I started with $100, and no matter what, I will forever protect that $100. If the trade that I've taken has gone horribly wrong, I would always exit at $100. So that $100, that's my original seed, the money that I planted, I will at least have that to give it another go. And of course, let's say I got to 10 grand, that's quite a few trades, 10 trades or something. That would have given me enough time to understand and learn from my mistakes, not to do them again. I'm gonna put my glasses on because I'm really struggling. Sorry about that. Yeah, so right now what we're gonna be waiting for here is for the market to reach this area of interest and reject it, possibly come back down and then have a push up. And that would be my entry point, which would be ideal. I do think this has a big potential as well to go further, but we'll see. It's nothing else I can do. Minimum for me would be the top of this, but it just does not make sense to go so little. But then on the other side too, looking at this, weekly is bullish. Now, when the market has come down from that to reject this area of interest, it hasn't always held, but I can kind of see that this one here has gone below. I mean, in fact, look how low it's gone. Holy shit, that went all the way down to the bottom. That's pretty amazing. And then he came back up, and the next one came all the way down, and then the red one has filled in. So yeah, this is interesting. This is very interesting. Yeah, I do think we're gonna see this go back up, but we'll see. So I'm just gonna go back to 4 hourly. I marked it like that, so that's us. GBP, JPY. We put this in possible entries. I'm pretty happy with this. I think I kind of see a lot of opportunities for the week coming, but I just need to kind of juggle the work balance and trading balance, because what happens is during the day, when we are in Tokyo session and what's another session? Sorry, I'm really losing my mind with these sessions. I think, okay, so we have Sydney session, Tokyo session, and Frankfurt. Also London starting while Tokyo is still ongoing. So they have enough power in them to make the market move. Now, this one here, for example, you're not going to believe this, but this happened Friday and Saturday morning. Look at this bullshit. I mean, that was a ginormous trade. Like, honest to God, that was such a beautiful trade. Now the only thing is this is 4 hourly, but even if I enter 4 hourly there, which definitely I wouldn't, I'm telling you that now, I would have made my 1 to 1. Almost. Almost made 1 to 1, right? But you don't know these things. Right? The only thing I can kind of see is that, hey, this finally broke above, retested it, sorry, broken, retested, broken, tested, and retested, and rejecting the EMA. So it's in a beautiful place at a 4 hourly to do that, you know, but yeah, I didn't see it, I didn't trade it, so screw it. Now weekly, what is weekly doing here? Weekly is bearish, and we're having a bearish push. Now, what do I see here? Do I see an area of interest on a weekly? Possible, maybe. So 1, 2, 3. I don't think so. I think, oops. Okay, that's another one. So yeah, it's no way that's gonna make it. No way. Nah, that's ginormous. 1, 2, 3. So this is a huge. Oh, this is probably 80. Oh no, this is 55 pip. So this is a valid area of interest. This is a very valid area of interest. Huh. Okay, well, that's good. That's good. So what that tells me is that there's potential for this to actually reach the bottom. It is potential to reach the bottom. So what I'm going to do, we're going to go to daily and have a nosy. Okay. So yeah, maybe a very ugly head and shoulders, but doesn't matter. I don't care about it. Weekly, anything? Nothing. Okay, so 4 hourly, we're reaching this area of interest, guys. Look, the only thing I can do here, I don't really like this much. It's a bit too late for me, and it is obviously in a weekly, like in the middle of weekly and at the bottom of daily. Bottom of daily is good because we could potentially see a potential long position here from the bottom all the way to the top of daily, and that's how normally is moving. like weekly is gonna show the overall direction, and then daily is gonna give me the entry. Sorry, daily is gonna give me the actual trade position point, and 4 hourly is gonna show me where to enter. So right now we are sitting in a good place to potentially see like a pullback, you know, a pullback in a bullish pullback in a weekly bearish. So I would say more likely we're gonna see the market come back up here. Let me think. I don't think we're gonna see a rejection here. I think we're gonna come back above this and do that for sure. Then do this. But it is possible. Possible. I do think weekly has a lot more to offer now than daily. So looking at daily also looks like it wants to go further down. I mean, we had reaction here, and at this point, when we came from the top, we went all the way down, you see? So from the top all the way down. I think from the top all the way down too, before we go up. And that makes a little bit more sense, because if I get rid of this right now, for example, start new, and we're going back to have a look at weekly, we can see weekly is exactly in the same place at the bottom, but obviously just a little bit higher. If I was to go back a little bit more, and push this down to 1, there you go. So right now we are a little bit lower. Let me just push play once. This is very slow. Come on, you're burning my time. Oh, that was actually blue originally, which made you definitely think that, hey, that's gonna go up. It's rejecting the EMA. Wow, that's amazing, blah, blah. And next minute, wick everybody out. Screw them all. See, that's the tricky part about trading. Just that there. See, now that changed already. That changed to bearish again. And it's gonna be bearish all the way to the bottom. But what I want to show you is that we are in the same kind of place now that this trade was back then. Come on. Why? Oh, there you go. So we are now, today, we are in exactly the same position like that. And we are below weekly low. And we are below weekly low now. So yeah, are we going to see this go all the way to the bottom? Potentially. Let's just go to 1 so it's faster. And we're going to see this, bam, reach there and then return. I think it's very possible. Very, very, very possible. But yeah, let's cancel that, leave. So, oh shit. So we are basically right there, same place, exactly the same place. So do I think we actually, I take that back, we are not below, we're not below the weekly low, but I still think that has the potential to reach there. More than it would have to reverse and go back up, but it could potentially go back up and then have a push down. So this takes me back to, we're not going to take a trade unless the market is showing us what it wants to do. Either come down, break below and retest with an engulfing signal, or go up above, exactly the same. Now, if this does go up, it's not going to go necessarily all the way up. It may still give me the squiggle down here, which I find that this is such a horrible thing to draw, because the market forever can do either one of the two, either up or go down. But because right now it's in the middle of the area of interest, and at the bottom of daily, the confluences are almost equal for both, right? It's just how I see it. It's just how I see it. Now, do I believe that it has the potential to push up first more than go down? Yes. But do I think the rejection of the EMA right now and this engulfing signal in the double top here has more power to go further down? Yes. So I don't know. I'm confused. I shouldn't say confused, because I'm not confused. I'm just eager to see what the market is going to do. I would not enter without a signal. But the good news is this has a risk to reward 1 to 2.7, so I would definitely be able to take my trade. So EURUSD, we can add this to possible entries, and holy shit, we have a lot of possible entries this week, which may be a shit thing to have, but the thing that I have to be aware of is just make sure I take my time to look at them, because if I don't look at them, then you can miss them. So it might be better to just pick the best options out of it and then just stick to them. But then I know in the back of my mind, I'll be like, oh, what if I miss other opportunities that are actually clear, that have a clear entry signal? So this whole process is just helping me understand and become a little bit better. All right, GBP USD, let's see. GBP USD at 4 hourly had this double top with rejection and full engulfing. That was a beautiful signal in the middle of bloody weekly. Middle of weekly and middle of daily. So the best thing about it, it has consolidated. It has consolidated for days, in fact. For days has consolidated, and eventually it just did it. But the best thing about it, if I look at it, let me just take this little box and see when, okay, see when we actually broke this cycle. So at this point here, so this was new high, 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 low, 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 high. Okay, at this point here. So this was bearish. This is where we started bearish, right here. So this leg, oh, this leg is the leg that was the first leg that was broken, like broken bearish after a bullish kind of push, a small bullish push, right? And now we are below it, and we can clearly see a push. But what I can't see is a retest of this area. Now, retesting of this area is pretty important to me. I wouldn't trade this anyway. GBP USD, I wouldn't trade it. It's right in the middle of weekly and daily. But it is good to keep an eye on it, because this could move rather good on like tomorrow morning. And because this black line is my trend line, it is pretty believable that this is going to push, possibly do a retest of that area of interest and then push to here, to this other area of interest, and then return to very far. I don't know. Let me just move these areas of interest. Now, one thing I just want to mention about the areas of interest, I normally like to delete them and put them all on again. But the reality is I find that the market would historically react of them. But what happens with the new markets, I adjust them a little bit. They're moving up and down a little bit. They're not always 100% reacting of the same areas, but I like to keep them in tone with the current market active leg. So for example, this is 4 hourly. Now I would not mark my 4 hourly area of interest, but if I'm looking at this here, I would like to have areas of interest. The ones I consider, either this one at the top, the ones in between, but the ones below I wouldn't really care. So right now I would expect a reaction from here in order to do something below or above. And I know I'm waiting for a rejection, from a breaking and retesting to go down, but I wouldn't trade here. The reality is I would wait for us to reach the bottom, and I'll just go to weekly quickly. I'll go to weekly quickly to see what's happening here. So you can see this trend line here. It almost seems that is going to make it to it. Almost seems that we're going to see a new candle go down, possibly. I do not know, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what the market does. That's for sure. So let's add these as well. Possible entries, but that will be at the bottom of possible entries. It's not my very best. Now, what's this one here? This one is GBP AUD. Now, this marker is the marker that I had in place last week, and I was waiting for this to really go down below here and do its thing. However, I marked this. Let me just see, what did I mark? Engulfing. I think this shifted a little bit. I think I had it right here because it reached this area of interest, and to my knowledge was that we're going to reject this. This was engulfing and it's coming down. Obviously it didn't. This is also one other option that we waited for to happen, and it didn't do it. It might well do it now, but I do not know. And hopefully I'm gonna know more when the market opens tomorrow and starts moving. But for me, this trade is, let me see. Yeah, so weekly clearly is changed direction. It's changed direction and is bullish, right? So weekly leg has just been broken. Tomorrow morning when the market opens, this is going to close bullish, and we're going to have the whole trend aligned. So daily, weekly, and 4 hourly is going to be bullish, and we are at the discount. Even though it's looking that is at the premium, the reality is at discount because we had this ginormous push down since April 2025. That's how low the price is. So, and I just realized some of the other trades I said, oh, the price is at premium or a discount. It may be at the premium or discount of the current leg, but if it had the big push like this, it's still a discount, because I would not think, oh, the price is here. The price would be a discount here. You see, it is the lowest it's been before the market would eventually equalize, go back to the center line what the EMA is, possibly. But anyway, like I said, this is just lessons. I'm just talking. It may be nonsense, I don't know, but the best thing about it is I will see it. And what I'm going to start doing, it's too late now because already the movie is finished. I'm going to start taking notes and putting notes on each market, so we can kind of follow what I say, because this is in the video but it's hard to go back and check 100%. But the arrows are doing a bit of speaking. So this one here, I don't think it's gonna go down. It's clear that it's reached its bottom, or so it seems. Even if you look here at the seasonals, it's the lowest it's been in ages, so it's potentially gonna stay there and kind of just range, which is also good. But the one thing is for certain, that is not going to be reversing. Can delete this for sure. Oopsies. I don't want to. Ah, come on. Okay, cool. One thing is for certain, that I'm going to wait now for a breaking and a retesting of this amazing area to go up. And yes, I'm going to look for an area here later. But for now, it's enough for tonight. I don't want to take longer than I need to. We're going to go for a 30 pip, which is roughly the area of interest. And we're going to go for 1-to-1. So yeah, that's pretty good. Possible entries, USD CAD. Let's start with weekly quickly. Oh wow, okay, definitely. I mean, just looking at this, clear ranging to me. Look at this, ranging, and the best of it, we are at the top of weekly and it is ranging. Now, what am I waiting for here? To see a rejection. So going to 4 hourly, what I must see is a rejection. We need to see this. However, this is looking like it's not going to do this, but hey, it has done it for quite a while. So finally, hopefully we're going to see that. This is trades that we marked last week, and this would have definitely given us the entry. This area of interest is a 4-hour area of interest, which it's just a 4-hour area of interest, is not to be trusted as much. Obviously the market reacts off it, but the high time frame areas of interest is what really matters. Now this particular market, we're gonna wait for it to give us an entry signal that is approximately about here at this area of interest, and go for a short position, put a sell through. I can delete this, we no longer need it. I can drag this back. I don't need that there, to be honest. The next available stop, it would be here. So this trade, if it does go good, it's going to give us 1 to 7. So if I enter with $1,000 for my stop loss, I make $7,000. Simple, right? I don't know if it's going to happen, but what thing is for certain, it's marked, and we're going to see, and we're going to learn from it, because right now the area of interest is not quite what I would have liked it to be, and maybe that's what I need to do. Look at daily, see if we can remark this before we go away. Oh, yeah, my eyes are killing me a little bit. So let's see. Okay, so where we are now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 reactions. So definitely this area of interest can be shifted. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can shift it there. We can shift it there. And it's still valid. The price, it's still within We are now not above it, and we're looking really good. Hey, look at that. See, a small adjustment make the whole thing look much better. Right now, we've reached this resistance area. We've rejected it. We almost retested it. We didn't. We just gibberished a little bit. And now we're coming back up and rejecting it properly. So we're not going above the weekly high, which is quite nice. So it's possible that we're going to see a push tomorrow morning, like a wick. We're going to see this candle, the next candle, go up like that, which will indicate that the liquidity has been taken, which will be absolutely amazing. Anyway, that's the candle. I can't really mark it. And then we're going to see the actual move, which is going to be down. So if this does happen, I would love to be able to see another candle just besides it, but full engulfing to there, the bottom of the daily. And this is going to have a color of red, like that. And then my entry will be right there. Now, entering with engulfing, very risky, but for the market that has been ranging, that's the signal. So fingers crossed. I mean, fingers crossed, like that. Anyway, that's the last on my list. And pretty much the same list for possible entries. There's a shit ton of them. There's no point going to them and putting them now first and last. I'll just leave them as it is, and I'm gonna retidy them up and put the top 6. That will be the ideal ones, and then the rest will be adjusted at the bottom to keep an eye and see if we have an entry signal. But look, I'm hoping that you may find some use in this video. It's not a lot to learn from it because I'm obviously learning myself. But eventually, you know, with the coming, you can't see my hands, with the coming weeks, we'll probably be able to have more, let's say, positive outcome from my learnings and what I'm doing. I'm a little bit different than all of the other traders, I guess. I'm just a builder, right? So I'm a builder that's learning how to trade. So don't be too harsh on me if you don't agree with things that I said. And instead just educate me if it's something you can add to what I've been kind of expressing. I know there's a lot that can be added. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it really simple, stupid, like very simple terms, simple signals to enter. I'm maybe missing a lot of trades because of that, but I don't need to take a million trades. I just want to take good trades. And yes, even though those good trades may look good, but they're not good, it is what it is. At least I'm taking some trades, and you know, it may take a little bit longer to get to what I want to get, but I won't get there if I don't try. And I think this is important for me to be able to get there. I can obviously better myself at trading by doing it and sharing my understanding online for my journal, and you know, with a simple quest to answer if trading can change my life. And if trading can truly change my life, we're going to see in 6 months at least a progress or a stagnation, and then at least I can understand and I can look back at these videos and go like, okay, so this is that hasn't really worked for 6 months. I must do something different. What can I do different? What do I miss them? Because the thing is, looking at the market all the time, you can kind of see how the market breeding and moving, and you will eventually start recognizing patterns. So it's inevitable for me to become better as long as I keep looking at the markets and understand my mistakes and understand my successes, you know. So I think that's why it's important for me to do the analysis of all of the lost and the won trades, and obviously do the market analysis. Now the thing I believe too is if I just stick to 2 pairs or 3 pairs, it would be probably better from one point, but then really not good from another. If I'm just sticking to 3 pairs and I'm just watching 3 pairs, I might become very good at them, but then the opportunities may be so much more limited than having more trades. More trades means you just need to dedicate more time to it. Yes, it can become confusing. Different pairs do different things, but so far is not. I don't feel that is kind of stopping me do the analysis and practice my understanding of the market movement and being able to compare between the pairs, what does what and how one compares to the other kind of thing. But yeah, for now, it is what it is. I hope you kind of see the idea with what I'm doing with this channel, and I hope that you're gonna stick around. So I really appreciate it. You have a good evening, and we'll see you Wednesday with the market update. If any entries do arise on Monday or potentially Tuesday, I'm gonna do an update anyway. Otherwise, we'll just look at Wednesday when I normally look for entries, or kind of seeing these 4 months. Tuesday night, Wednesday night is when the market does align with an entry signal. So we'll just keep an eye and keep you guys posted. Have a lovely evening, and thank you very much for watching again.